Hello again, everybody. My name is Jim Devaney, and I'm the trainer instructor for Paws, Canine Obedience and Pet City. Today I'm going to discuss how you can better communicate and train your pup on a more social level and let them learn on their own. First, positive reinforcement is the most effective way to train your pup. The negative methods of forceful training of years ago has proven to be outdated. So grabbing, yelling, and using painful tactics to train your dog is more harmful than good. I want to talk a little bit about what I call rules to live by. Dogs have short-term bad memories. That's a good thing, actually, because when dogs tend to be frightened by sounds or people or other dogs, they tend to forget those pretty quickly, unless they're repetitive, which goes to the next point I want to talk about, which means that dogs have good long-term memories. So when we train dogs and we repeat commands and lure and shape them into the behaviors we want, they tend to remember those things because they're repetitive. The last item in that point is dogs have short attention spans, which means for a puppy, training them on from 3 to 5 minutes is about the most we can expect from them. On the other hand, an older dog we could train anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes. If you go longer than that for both pups and for older dogs, they tend to lose focus and you don't retain their attention at all. So let's talk about correct and reward in the act. If you don't catch a dog to correct or reward them within 3 seconds of something they've done, then you lose it. So if they were to poop or pee on the floor and 3 seconds go by, or even shorter than that, it's too late to really correct them. The best thing you can do, by the way, for peeing and pooping on the floor would be to pick up the poop, wipe the pee up, and take it outside and wipe it on the pee on a grassy area, and then take the poop and sit it there as well. That will give them the incentive to go outside and go to that same spot all the time. When in doubt, use verbal corrections. So if your dog does something, if it's jumping on you and you want to say off, do so. If it's doing something where you correct them with no, then go ahead and use that as well. So when you're not sure, go ahead and use either one of those commands, or one of those redirections. So if you're using that as a redirection, then everyone in your family and everyone in your household has to use that same correction. So don't use your dog's name negatively. A dog's name is the most important thing they're ever going to hear in their life. So we want to make sure that we emphasize their name in a positive way. So for instance, we don't want to call a dog to us to go take them and give them a bath, or clip their nails, or put them in the car to take them to the vet. We would want to walk to them and leash them and go take them to give them a bath, or to take them out to go to the vet. So just remember that you want to use your dog's name positively at all times. Never hit, kick, yell, or strike your dog with a newspaper or anything like that. Again, going back to what I said in the beginning, that's from years ago. We don't do that anymore, and it's been found that by experts that's a negative way to train your dog. It creates aggression, fearfulness, and you'll never get your dog to really become the well-behaved dog that you want it to be. Remember, teaching good canine behavior needs absolute consistency and determination. So it doesn't take a lot of time, but it takes time on a frequent basis. So make sure that you know that when you go to train your dog, whether it's through Paws, Canine Obedience, or another trainer, or you use the internet or books, make sure that you know that you have to be there to train your dog with frequency. Not long periods of time in one session, but often. Let's go to what I call understanding your dog. It's a little bit of ethology and psychology of a pup. Once dogs have matured past the puppy stage, they're not as impressionable as they used to be. So they can develop some bad habits on their own. So we try to unlearn those habits and those bad behaviors. But remember, It's taken them months in a lot of cases to develop these habits. It's going to take every bit that long to redirect them. So you have to put in the time and the effort. When dogs go from a puppy stage to the juvenile stage, they're not much different than a teenage child would be. So you handle them in similar ways, and we teach you how to do that in our classes. There's two different types of bonds in a dog's life. One's a human bond and the other one's a pack bond. The human bond is love, affection, direction, and attention, where it's similar to having a child. The pack bond is one of trust, hierarchy, obedience, and boundaries. So keep in mind that these are pack animals and to be treated accordingly. In a training class, your pack bond will strengthen along with your relationship with your dog and your leadership role. The pack status can change in your dog when situations in their life and at home change. So for instance, if you have a child that goes off to school, if you have a death in the family, a good example that I use all the time is, let's say you have a child that graduated from high school and now they're going off to college. That can have an effect on the dog and their demeanor. They can certainly change. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be aggressively changing or reactively changing, but there are some things that you might see psychological about boundaries and things like that that might change in the dog's life. So let's review some items to keep in mind with your pup. Dogs don't know bad behaviors. They're either self-taught or taught by us. Dogs are self-rewarding, and so they're going to learn those bad behaviors depending on what we do and how we handle the behaviors and redirect those. With puppies, it's easy because they're impressionable. We're able to give them direction. We're able to let them figure things out on their own. So when I train in a puppy culture class, what I do is I allow the dog to sit on its own before we ever give it attention, before we ever give it a treat. It's really simple, but you need to know how that happens. So dogs don't understand our language exactly. I always tell everybody that dogs understand really music better than they do language. What that means is when I start calling a pup, and if I have a young dog named Memphis that I'm training now, if I'm calling Memphis, I'm not saying, come here Memphis, I'm saying, puppy, 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 come here Memphis. You use a higher pitched sound. Dogs respond to that well. You know, what experts say that dogs understand anywhere from, at one time, 165 words, now maybe up to 1,000 words. But it doesn't matter what number of words they actually understand. They're actually understanding sounds and phrases and commands that we give them because they hear the same ones repetitively, and that makes it stick with the dog. So when you're communicating to your dog, make sure you communicate at a higher level. And give them the attention and praise that they deserve. And you'll see the rewards and the benefits. Another point is dogs are natural chewers, nippers. They chew to relieve stress, boredom, even during the teething process. As a matter of fact, nipping is part of dogs' playing and greeting process and to seek attention. There are ways to redirect them out of that. We help you in our classes do exactly that, to redirect those behaviors. As your dog matures past like a 12 to 14 week period, they develop into the juvenile stage. And you'll find that they can become a little bit more rebellious and challenging. Memphis is in her terrible twos right now, so she tends to start jumping on people where she never did it before. But I'm redirecting that behavior. It'll go away pretty quickly. And I think you can find that can happen with your dog as well. We have tools and tactics that we use to redirect that and take that out of the dog from jumping on people or jumping on furniture or even that teething process or nipping and biting. Dogs need lots of patience and consistency. It's easy to get frustrated with your pup, and you need to understand how frustration leads into more difficulty in training your pup. So when you get frustrated, walk away. Don't stay in that same thought process. stop, drop, and go away, and then come back and start over again. Remember, dogs don't understand naturally. They're either self-taught or taught by us. And again, we help you in our classes communicate with your dog. So we help you teach them the behaviors you want. Last item, and you've heard me say this before, but I can't tell you enough that the effort, the repetition, the consistency are all ingredients for progress and success for having a well-behaved dog. So if you want that dog to be good with you, your family, and your friends, you need to seek out training, whether it's from us at 4 Paws or another trainer. Or like I said earlier, you can go to get books, or you can get on the internet. Do something and do it early, because it means a lot in your dog's life, and it'll mean a lot to you. There's no excuses when it comes to training, and I tell people that a lot. You know, if you're planning on getting your pup trained, do it early, and make sure you follow through on everything that your trainer helps you with. At 4 Paws Canine Obedience, we provide a number of different services, which include puppy, basic, and advanced group classes. We also provide therapy and CGC, AKC registration. We do one-on-one in-home evaluations and programs. We do behavior modifications. Board and train programs are also available for both mature dogs and pups, and off-leash training. So for more information about me, our classes, you can go to 4paws.services, that's FORPAWS.services, or you can call me directly at 859-802-6076. We hope to see you soon, and please don't hesitate to call and find out more about our services and what we do. Thanks for watching.